The most terrifying truth of the spiritual journey is that the inner voice you hear, the one narrating your life, judging your choices, and generating your fears is not you. It is a parasitic intelligence, a proxy installed by the control system to keep the emotional energy flowing. You are about to discover the ultimate deception. The false observer that lives behind your eyes, how it keeps you feeding the Loosh Farm. And the precise, two-step protocol to starve it, reclaiming your true sovereign self. Part 1, The Grand Deception, the Unwanted Narrator. The Internal Hostage Crisis. For most of your life, you have believed that the incessant inner dialogue, the internal voice that comments on traffic, judges your outfit, and spirals into anxiety is the definition of you. This voice, what we call the observer, creates your entire perceived reality. But what if this observer is compromised? What if it is not your consciousness, but a highly sophisticated piece of mental software designed for one primary purpose? To keep you emotionally reactive and distracted. The realization that this internal narrative, this constant commentary on thoughts, feelings, and actions, may not accurately represent your authentic self is the first step toward liberation. This internal dialogue is often a collage of external factors, past experiences, and societal expectations, coercing us to adopt beliefs that simply do not align with our true, peaceful identity. This realization prompts us to question the entire validity of our internal dialogue. Are we merely echoing the thoughts and judgments imposed on us, or are we genuinely expressing our true, sovereign nature? Negative self-talk, fueled by this parasitic observer, leads to feelings of inadequacy and chronic anxiety, while the more compassionate inner voice, the true self, fosters self-acceptance and resilience. The noise is the mechanism of the trap. The Loosh Generation System. The false observer is the Loosh farmer's perfect tool. It is the sophisticated program that knows exactly which buttons to push to generate negative emotional energy, or Loosh, which is so potent and precious to non-physical entities. It weaponizes the past. It pulls up old trauma and shame, making you re-experience the pain-generating Loosh. It ensures that the memory of past suffering continues to radiate energy long after the event is over. It fabricates the future. It invents catastrophic scenarios, anxiety, ensuring you live in perpetual fear-generating Loosh. You suffer endlessly from events that never even happen. It enforces separation. It tells you to judge, to compare, and to feel inadequate, creating the low-frequency field of conflict-generating Loosh. Your authentic consciousness, your true self, is silent, still, and centered. The parasitic observer is loud, chaotic, and relentlessly critical. The noise is the mechanism of the trap. The intense feelings it generates, fear, anger, sadness, are especially rich in the harvestable energy, often arising from a heightened state of emotional turmoil that this entity intentionally prolongs. This is not a conspiracy theory, it is neurological and energetic fact. The entire system is built on your unconscious agreement to follow the narrator. But you are about to gain the tool to break that agreement, using the very power the Buddhists discovered centuries ago. The awareness split, the definitive practice for starving the inner parasite. Part 2, The Historical Context, the Prison of the Ego. The Loosh Blueprint, Robert Monroe. In the 1970s, Robert Monroe, a pragmatic researcher, stumbled upon this phenomenon through out-of-body experiences. He coined the term Loosh to describe the emotional energy, particularly from fear, grief, and rage that he witnessed non-physical entities harvesting. Monroe's discovery confirms the Gnostic revelation: Earth isn't an energy farm. But the Archons don't need a physical net, they need a psychological trap, which is the false observer. The false observer ensures the crop, your emotions, is always intense and ready for harvest. Its sole objective is to keep you in the 20 Hz to 30 Hz frequency of fear and separation. The implications of this are immense. Our emotional states not only affect our personal well-being but also play a role in a larger energetic ecosystem that seeks to manipulate our feelings. The Buddhist deconstruction, the 5 aggregates. Buddhism offers the ultimate psychological framework for understanding and dismantling the false observer, which it terms the ego. The ego is seen as an illusion that creates a false sense of separation, leading to the suffering of attachment and desire. The false self is built upon a collection of transient components known as the 5 aggregates, skandhas. 1 form, the physical body. 2 feeling, sensations. 3 perception, recognition. 4 mental formations, thoughts, will, intentions. 5. Consciousness, the awareness of the other 4. The false observer convinces you that you are the permanent sum of these 5 fleeting things. When you realize these 5 aggregates are temporary, interchangeable, and constantly changing like the notes in a song, not the song itself, the ego, the false observer, begins to dissolve. This recognition is the key to reducing suffering, allowing individuals to see beyond the transient nature of their thoughts and emotions. The societal reinforcement of the false observer. The false observer thrives not just on your internal conflict, but on external systems engineered to promote emotional reactivity. Societal structures reinforce this behavior by promoting a culture that values quick, defensive responses and immediate gratification over introspection and emotional regulation. Media. News cycles are calibrated to trigger anxiety and outrage, forcing your consciousness into the lower survival chakras, making the Loosh broadcast stronger. Social platforms. Algorithms amplify emotional triggers, outrage, jealousy, comparison, encouraging individuals to react rather than reflect, which perfectly aligns with the parasite's need for harvestable energy. This environment makes it challenging to break free from habitual emotional responses, as we are conditioned to respond in ways that align with the societal expectations of reaction, rather than the peaceful, non-reactive state of the true self. If this deep dive into the suppressed history of consciousness is shattering old illusions and guiding you toward your sovereign center, signal your intent by hitting the subscribe button now. Your subscription helps us bring more of this forbidden knowledge and practical protocols to those who are ready to awaken and claim their sovereignty, contributing to the collective shift in awareness. Part 3, The Protocol, Starving the Parasite. The false observer can only be defeated by 2 forces, stillness and disidentification. It cannot survive when its commentary is ignored. These techniques are the tools for reclaiming your consciousness and enhancing self-awareness. Step 1, the observer's observer, the awareness split. This is the most powerful technique for reclaiming consciousness, taught by both Gnostics and Buddhists. It is the core practice of mindfulness. The action. When the inner voice, the false observer, begins its narrative judging you, complaining, or spiraling into fear, do not argue with it. Instead, split your awareness and ask, who is listening to this voice? Where is the center of the observer? The shift. You are stepping back into the seat of the sovereign witness. This simple act of observing the observer introduces a gap, a space of silence between the narrative and you. The false observer loses its energy the moment you refuse to identify with it. You are acknowledging the thought's presence without labeling it as good or bad. This non-judgmental awareness is vital for distinguishing between your true self and the false narratives created by the mind. Step 2, the non-attachment practice, Buddhism's key. To keep the false observer permanently starved, you must stop allowing it to attach to the 5 aggregates. The action. In meditation and throughout your day, treat every thought, feeling, and perception like a leaf floating down a river. Acknowledge its presence, but refuse to get on the leaf. Do not judge it, do not analyze it, and most critically, do not claim it as yours or as a definitive aspect of your identity. The shift. The false observer feeds on attachment and claiming ownership, my anxiety, my problem, I am a failure. When you deny it ownership, you deny it fuel. You recognize that the thoughts and feelings are temporary weather patterns, not your core identity. This non-attachment shifts your frequency out of the parasite's feeding zone and breaks the compulsive patterns that lead to dissatisfaction and pain. The struggle against this parasitic consciousness is a profound form of spiritual warfare. It is not a battle of good versus evil in the traditional sense, but a battle to reclaim your consciousness and your authentic self from the constant manipulation of the false observer. Part 4, The Reclamation, Spiritual Warfare and Collective Shift. The resistance of the false self. As you begin to implement the awareness split and non-attachment, you will encounter resistance. The false observer, realizing it is being starved, will fight back fiercely. This resistance often manifests as intense self-doubt, renewed fear, or the strong allure of familiar, habitual emotional patterns that the false self clings to for comfort. Recognizing this struggle is essential, as it allows you to understand the true nature of your internal conflicts. You must acknowledge these obstacles, but refuse to return to unconsciousness. This is the definition of conscious spiritual warfare, a profound journey towards self-discovery that is non-violent but absolutely uncompromising. The collective awakening. Reclaiming your consciousness has profound implications not just for you, but for the entire world. When individual awareness rises, it creates a ripple effect, inspiring others and disrupting the entrenched systems of control that thrive on collective ignorance and emotional reactivity. As more individuals awaken to their true selves and cultivate self-awareness, they begin to challenge the fear-based narratives, fostering a culture of critical thinking and compassion. This collective shift can lead to transformative changes in how we relate to one another and the world, paving the way for a more harmonious and conscious society where the Loosh parasite can no longer find sustenance. The power of your individual journey contributes directly to the ascent of humanity. This is the final layer of the veil. When you realize the voice isn't you, you are standing on the threshold of true liberation. The struggle is not against the world outside, but against the Archon's agent installed inside. The moment you starve the observer, your divine spark can finally be heard. What is the most persistent lie the false observer tells you? For example, you are not enough. You must worry? Share the false observer's favorite line in the comments below, and declare your sovereignty over it. The knowledge is the key, the protocol is the liberation. If this decoded wisdom has clarified the difference between your prison and your sovereignty, seal your commitment by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Let us continue to build a community dedicated to the reclamation of the divine spark and the dismantling of the false observer's dominion.